Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's review we're going to be taking a look at the newly released Doctor Wu movie collector MC01 Mozart, also known as a legend scaled Transformers The Last Knight version of Mohawk. Now if you are in the market for picking this figure up, he is available and in stock right now over at Showzy Store, and for that of course I will leave a link down in the description box below, both to a direct listing here of this version of Mozart as well as the repainted more darker gunmetal version down in the description box below. Taking a look here firstly at the packaging, you can see that we've got a really awesome image here of Mohawk movie collector. I really do hope that Doctor Wu do continue their movie collection series. As we take a look here at the side of the packaging, once again another schematic image there of Mohawk in his robot mode, with the back of the box showcasing him in both robot mode as well as in his bike mode, and the other side of the packaging just has a barcode sticker. Setting that here off to the side and very quickly bringing in the collector's card, very similarly to their version of Scalpel. This is made out of a firmer type of material. To me it feels as if though it is a laminated piece of card, but you can see that we do have Mozart there with some cool product images. And as we take a look here at the back, we've also got some of these statistics here, which by the looks of things Mohawk here does rank very lowly. Now taking a look here at the main figure himself, in my opinion this is potentially the closest that we're going to be getting for a Studio Series scaled version of Mohawk. I for sure do believe that Doctor Wu's intention was to give fans a Studio Series representation of Mohawk, as this figure here is incredibly tiny. However, I think that the details as well as the overall look of both the robot mode and the bike mode have come out really nicely. Taking a look here at the head sculpt, you can see that we've got that very ugly head that Mohawk did have in the Transformers The Last Knight movie, with the bug eyes there off to the sides, picked out in a really nice looking red. And you can also see that considering the scale, we have also got some fantastic details going on there. Of course, we do have Mohawk's grill, which has been picked out in a really awesome metallic gold, and the definition between each of the teeth too can also be clearly seen. Something which I love is that they have captured one of Mohawk's more iconic design traits, that being his really awesome eccentric green mohawk, and you can see that there has been painted and sculpted really nicely. As we take a look here for the body, the details in my opinion have come out really well, with some darker gunmetal highlights in order to pick out some of the sharper details of the sculpt, with the bike wheels here on either sides of his shoulders, obviously to match the on-screen CGI model. And we also do have some very subtle detailings here of fingers and thumbs, which on a figure of this scale I was really not expecting whatsoever. We do get some accessories with these figures, such as these tiny little daggers that do indeed hang off the thighs of Mohawk. These are removable, however I haven't found any place for you to actually attach them here in the robot mode, so personally for me I do think that they are merely here for robot mode aesthetic. And as we take a look here down to the lower section of the shin, you can once again see some really nice looking details as well as some very crisp and precise looking paint apps. And as we just take a look here at the back, you can see that we do have the wheels of the bike here folded up really nicely. So overall, in terms of overall visual representation, I think that they've done a really nice job, once again, considering this figure's scale. In terms of articulation, we do get a ball joint here at the head, which can allow the figure to look up as well as down. It can of course rotate left to right, and due to it being on a ball joint, you can get some slightly more quizzical poses out of this figure with him tilting side to side. These sections here are on hinge joints, so you can move them around in order to accommodate the range of motion here for the arms, which are on ball joints. So these here can hinge all the way up, all the way down, out to the sides. We also do get a faux butterfly joint due to the nature of the transformation. Ball joints here at the elbows, which can hinge up to 90, as well as of course rotate left to right. We do have a hinge joint here at the hands, which is mainly due to transformation. Something which I was not expecting whatsoever is that we do indeed get a waist rotation, which is not intended for transformation whatsoever. So this is merely here in order to aid some of the robot mode poses. The legs here can kick forwards all the way that far, which in my opinion is fantastic, as well as back to that far. He can of course do the splits. We do get double joints here for the knees in order to give him the chicken leg look that we see in the Last Knight movie, so you can really compress those or of course extend those and use that there as a knee joint. And then as we take a look here at the foot, we do get a hinge joint forwards and backward, which is mainly due to transformation. However, we also do get a ball joint here, which can of course pivot side to side as well as rock forwards and backwards, which really does help in order to get Mohawk here into some super dynamic poses. So overall for robot mode, I think that this figure here has turned out really nicely. In terms of some size comparisons, the only other figure that I really have to hand in order to compare him with is the Netflix Deluxe class Bumblebee, and you can certainly see in what I was stating earlier on in regards to this figure being more of the Legends class scale. To be honest, he's probably actually a little smaller than that of the Legends. You can see that Bumblebee here is an incredibly small deluxe figure, so Mohawk here certainly is on the smaller side. And just bringing out one of the Micromasters from the Transformers Siege line, he is slightly taller than that figure. However, when you take into account all of the joints as well as the complexity to the conversion, it really does blow this Micromaster here out of the water. Turning our attention here now to the transformation, you're going to want to take these arms here and utilize that butterfly joint in order to bring them closer into the body. With those here brought in, we can then begin to tab them nice and securely into place. With that now done, you can take the head here and slightly raise this up, as this entire section is going to come over the top and sit along the side just like so. This here will correct itself when we do actually get the wheels into the proper configuration. So to do that, you're going to want to take this section here, and you can see how we do have a tab and a slot there that this here will click nice and securely into place. This section here will also come forwards, and then you're then going to want to rotate this here all the way around until we are left with something along the lines of this. We can then take this on this double joint, and you're going to want to arch that back, as these here will tab in nice and securely. With that now done, we can take the legs here, flip these sections here forwards, and with that done, you can compress this, take this section here, and snap that all nice and securely into place. And then it's just a matter of shooting these ball joints here into this circular cutout. You can see how we do have a circular section here that the ball joint here will snugly fit into. Of course, come here to this side and repeat the same process. Bring this section here down, fold this in upon itself, and snap that in there nice and securely. Ensure that everything is aligned up appropriately. Bring the bike seat up here on a hinge joint, and there we have Mohawk fully transformed up into his bike mode. And once again, considering the figure's size, I think that he captures the look of Mohawk in his robot mode and even in his bike mode really well, especially here for the bike mode. You can see that considering that this figure had a very simplistic transformation, I think that this looks very accurate to what we actually saw in the movie. You can also flip out the bike handle here in order to create for a more authentic look, but you can see that we've got some fantastic gunmetal silver there in order to pick out some of the sharper details of the sculpt. I think that the rims there have been painted really nicely in that silver with the black plastic there in order to simulate the rubber wheels. And then as we take a look here at the front, you can see all of the nice details here, such as the light, which has been picked out in silver, the handlebars, which have been picked out in a black, and you also have got some nice dials here on this section. I think that the seat has come out really nicely there with this black section for the back of the hands, and overall it's just a really solid looking vehicle mode. Once again, considering the figure's scale, of course we do have a tiny little bike stand here, so he can indeed stand up really nicely when in this mode, and if you actually want him to roll along the ground, he can also do so with ease. So that just about wraps it up here for Mohawk in his vehicle mode. Let's get into my final thoughts. And so, some final thoughts. For the most part, I think that this figure here has come out really nicely. In terms of his robot mode, he's pretty much spot on to what we actually see in the Last Night movie. Mohawk was unfortunately one of the characters that we saw the least of in the film, so we didn't really get a great look at his robot mode. However, judging from what we did see, I think that Dr. Wu here have done a commendable job. The head sculpt certainly is my favourite aspect of the robot mode. I love how he has got the gold grille, the red eyes, and of course the iconic green mohawk. I really do like how they've managed to get the actual wheels of the bike mode situated on his shoulders, much like we saw in the film, and the level of detail on a figure of this scale once again is very impressive. The articulation too is quite surprising. This figure has roughly the exact same amount of articulation as you would expect from a normal size deluxe, and considering this figure here is slightly bigger than that of a Micromaster, once again it is very impressive. In terms of transformation, it's very fun to go from robot mode to bike mode, and of course vice versa. So in terms of conversion, I think that it works really well, and then when we actually do get him into the bike mode, it looks once again very accurate to what we see in the movie. So if you are after a Mohawk that scales really nicely with the Studio Series figures, then I definitely think that this figure for now is the best way to go. And overall, Dr. Wu's first two entries into this movie collection, Mohawk and Scalpel, have really impressed me, so I would love to see what they could do with the likes of Ravage and Laserbeak, and maybe even a Revenge of the Fallen Insecticon. With all that being said, if you are in the market for picking this figure up, he is available over at Shozy Store, and of course I will leave a link down in the description box below, both to a direct link here for this version of Mohawk, as well as a direct link to the repainted version of this figure. I really do hope that you enjoyed this review. If you did, please do let me know down in the comment section below. Also be sure to check out my previously reviewed Dr. Wu Scalpel, as that figure in my opinion is just as impressive as Mohawk is here, and until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.